Hey, what's going on, my people? Thank you for tuning in with Profe, Agayu. And this live here, I am going live to talk about travel. So basically, I wanted to talk about just travel and traveling in general. Right now is the height of travel season in many places. There is a lot more people traveling now since the pandemic has pretty much subsided, but have not gone away. And many countries have lowered their uh, COVID testing standards and have removed any sort of testing requirements or vaccination requirements in entering different countries. So that's been helpful. However, fuel costs have gone up tremendously in the past few months, which has not only already affected the already struggling um, travel, airline travel that's been going on, but because that was already a struggle with a lot of folks being laid off for the pandemic, and then now that travel has picked up, a lot of airlines are now trying to scramble to find workers and pilots and restructure themselves so that they can support the high tourist season. At the same time, high fuel costs have also been another burden for some of these airlines. So therefore, it's been look, prices are high. I don't know if any of you have traveled recently or listening right now, but prices are high, much higher than before. So that's it. That's what I want to talk about. I know I don't have anyone on the line right now, but that's essentially what I want to talk about, as well as some of the uh, popular destinations that people are going to or want to go to, have gone to right now. So that's basically it. So first of all, I'm gonna start off. I have a few more sips of my apple juice. So right now, I'm in the Dominican Republic. For those that don't know, this is where I live. This is where I be, and I'm specifically located in Santo Domingo Norte. And I've been here for quite a while. Uh, I am a resident. I should say that I am a resident here, and I am looking for next year to be eligible for citizenship, to apply for citizenship. So hopefully that's the case for next year, and I'll be able to apply and go through that process and find success in that. So with that said, my home is Dominican Republic. So I travel throughout Dominican Republic in my free time. I do not just stay in Santo Domingo, though that's where I am. This is where I live. I try to go to different parts of the country to be able to get to know the country. This is my new country, but also to be able to show you folks out there what the Dominican Republic looks like. And most of those places I go to are the most frequent places that tourists go to in this country, which is the resorts. That's where folks go to for the most part. So that's where I try to make sure I get the best information from different resorts, so that folks have somewhere to go to get that info. But apart from that, that's pretty much what I do here in country. Also, all the other videos that you may have seen on my channel where I'm talking about, getting a bank account and immigration and dealing with different things and people here. So that's my channel. But as far as travel, so right now, I am looking to be traveling soon. When I say soon, I mean towards the end of the summer, I am looking to travel. I have not decided exactly where that place is. I like to go out to Europe, but I'm also contemplating going to Brazil. So we will see what happens. Brazil, get into places from the Dominican Republic is depending on where you're going, it can be easy. Hey, if you're going to the States, if you're going to other parts of Latin America, it's pretty easy. If you're going to other specific places like in Europe, there are less direct flights, but there are direct flights. So my place that I'm looking to go to in Europe, if I go late this summer, is Turkey. Why Turkey? Well, if you don't know, Turkey is it's part of the EU, but not entirely part of the EU. Turkey is relatively safe and welcoming to travelers and to tourists. Turkey, its economy has had some issues recently, so things are cheaper there than they have been in the past. So therefore, as a tourist, you can go there and take advantage of the economy and the value of the dollar, the value of the euro, to go out there to sightsee and enjoy yourself. So Turkey is a predominantly Muslim country. However, it is still quite open-minded. It's not like some of those other predominantly Muslim countries where things are really strict. That's not so much the case for Turkey. However, they do have their exceptions. Turkey is part of Europe, but it's also part of Asia. And it's a Mediterranean country. So there's lots of places that are on the beach, lots of places. And I say the beach, this is the Mediterranean Sea and the Black Sea. If you want to go to a lot of historic sites connected to the Ottoman Empire, sites that go even further beyond that in history, a lot of sites there, a lot of history there, a lot of resorts and beach towns and stuff like that. There's also the capital is in the mountains, Ankara. So Ankara, it doesn't get as much tourism as Istanbul per se, which is the largest country in Turkey. However, if you want to get a feel for the mountains and go like skiing and stuff like that, you can do that in Turkey. Also, Turkey is if you want to travel around Turkey, it's easy to get to other countries. For example, Turkey is bordered by I believe it's Georgia. So you can get to Georgia. Yes, it's Georgia. So you can get to Georgia, which is also a popular tourist destination as well. And it's cheap. You can take a boat ride, an overnight boat ride to Russia. You can go from a town in Turkey to Sochi, which is like the Miami of Russia. And it's like an overnight cruise for about $100 or something like that. So again, Turkey's a nice spot. It's a nice place to go if you want to travel to Europe and do something different. For me, I traveled a lot in my years, even though now home is DR. I always wanted to go to the places less traveled. So if everyone is going to, let's say, if everyone's going to Spain or everyone's going to France, or if everyone's going to Thailand or something, I'm not doing it. I'm going off the beaten path. I'm going to one of those places less traveled, less talked about, less mentioned, so I can get that tourist experience, but not that experience that's heavily touristed. Well, heavily touristed. So there you go. So Turkey is a potential destination for me at the end of the summer. The other place I'm looking at going is Brazil if I don't go to Turkey. Now, Brazil, I have not been there, but always wanted to go. I have not really decided how I would do that trip, but I feel like it'd be difficult to make a trip to Brazil without actually going to Rio. So I think Rio is the most a definite spot. But I also want to go to some other places in Brazil that are less traveled. For example, Florianopolis. I want to check out Florianopolis. Florianopolis is a smaller city in Brazil. It's safer and maybe a little more expensive, but it's safer. They don't have the same levels of crime that you will find in Sao Paulo or Rio or Salvador, Recife, Natal, all those different cities. But it's you still get that Brazilian experience, and it's a different Brazilian experience. It's in the south of the country. It's more inland, and they don't have that same, I guess, Brazilian vibe that you would get in many places in Bahia or the northern part of Brazil, on Rio or Sao Paulo. So that's why I'm really looking at Florianopolis, but I'm still ironing out the details for Brazil, even though I pretty much have Turkey in the bag. But I haven't pulled the trigger on actually going there, and one of the reasons why is because the flights are much more expensive to get to Turkey than it is to get here, than it is to get to Brazil. So from here to Turkey, the cheapest airline is called Contour Airlines, which fly out of Santo Domingo, and they also fly out of Punta Cana, and they go to Germany. I believe it's Frankfurt, and then from Frankfurt, it goes to Istanbul. In September, I found some cheap ones, but I'm going to be spending at least $1,500. So even though, I mean, I can do it, but at the same time, if I'm spending less than half of that going to Brazil, it would definitely rethink which country I go to, especially since even though Turkey's not crazy expensive, Brazil is generally more inexpensive than Turkey. And I've also looked at different times of the year, and it's cheaper to fly to Turkey during the winter than it is to fly at the end of the summer. So that's why I'm thinking about all that stuff, and maybe it'd be best just to go to Brazil, just because the time for this time of the year it's cheaper to go to Brazil than it is to go to Turkey, and Turkey can be done at a later time. So that's what I'm looking at right now, and we'll see what happens. And also, I want to go to Turkey in the colder part, even though end of the summer, I guess it's getting cooler in Turkey. It's not quite winter. So I'd rather go to Turkey during the winter when it's cooler, but we'll see what happens. But anyone out there got any comments of their next trip? Will they plan on going, or where they'd like to go? Why? Etc. Y para la gente que no habla inglés, estoy hablando de viajes. Y estoy preguntando si alguien en el chat ahora tiene algunos planes para viajar. Y si tiene planes, ¿a cuál país? ¿Cuál lugar? ¿Por qué? Cosas así. Pero en ese momento yo no tengo nadie escribiendo en el chat. Entonces voy a seguir. one of the other places I've really been thinking about going to is Australia. Australia is far, and to get there from DR, I mean, it's going to take at least three planes, at least three planes. You cannot get to Australia from DR with two planes. You're going to get there from at least three, and it's super expensive. Probably twice as much as it is going to Turkey. But that is a trip I really, really, really want to go to. And even though Australia is not a cheap country, the experience, because it's the land down under, man, the experience with the nature and the culture there, and Australia is just a place that I always wanted to go to, but it's just so far away. And that's just it. For a lot of people who travel, maybe some of you out there feel the same as me, but even though I like to go out to those places further away, like those places in like the East Africa, those places in East Asia and South Asia, Oceania, I like to go. But man, when you look at those flights, and you look at 15 hours and all these different legs, when I can just go someplace and I could be there in 3 hours or 4 hours, it could definitely weigh a lot on your decision. Because I see a lot of folks out there recently in the YouTube world going out to Thailand recently. And look, I've been, even though I did it for work, I mean, I've been to Japan and Korea and the Philippines. And man, I did not look forward to those flights, man. I mean, when you're doing 14 hours on a flight, it's a lot, and it takes a lot out of it. So if I can avoid that, I will. And that's why I haven't really traveled that far on my personal time, because it's so far away. It takes a lot of mental readiness to get yourself in that position to do that. But yeah, so those are what I'm looking at. So probably my other trip that I'm looking at going to is Cape Verde. Cape Verde, I'll be going to within likely next year. So I'll say my next 4 trips. Not my next 4 trips. My next 4 major trips, because I don't count going to the U.S. or going to Colombia or going to one of these other Caribbean islands. I don't consider that a big trip. But one of my 4 next big trips would definitely be Turkey, or I should say Europe. If it's not Turkey, Europe, Brazil, Cape Verde, and Australia. Most definitely. But anyone out there, any of you got any questions, comments? Where are you going? Where are you going? Or where do you want to go? Or where should I go? Let me ask you that. Where do you recommend that I go? If not Turkey, if not Brazil, if not Australia, if not Cape Verde, where do you recommend that I go? I also really like to go to Tanzania as well. I definitely want to see what Dar es Salaam and Zanzibar. I want to see that in person, what that looks like. Yeah, I mean, they got the wildlife out there in Africa too, which would be dope to see in Tanzania. But I guess I'm not super thrilled about all that. I don't need to be up close in nature to see lions and elephants and hyenas and stuff like that. I mean, I've been to Disney World, but the culture. For me, as a traveler, I'm more interested in the culture and in the history. Food it goes with culture, but the culture and the history. I'm not really into like nature that much. Simply because a lot of that stuff I've already like learned about, and you can learn from the comfort of your own home. But when you're going out to a new country and you're going to nature into a new country, it can get uncomfortable real quick. You know what I'm saying? Hey, again, comment if you got any questions or places that you plan on traveling to or want to travel to, or si tú tienes preguntas o un comentario de tus viajes o tus próximos viajes o cualquier cosa, por favor, escribe en el chat. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Ex-strolling. Do you have any ex-strolling? ¿Tú tienes viajes planeado? Hey, so like I was saying, so when you're traveling, me personally, I don't really travel for the nature or to be with nature, because nature can be beautiful and dope, but it can get uncomfortable real quick. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say I want to go to the Amazon. I've been to the Amazon. I mean, I live in Peru, so I've been to the Amazon. Being in the Amazon is dope. You got, just like this weather is like totally different. The air is different. It's hot and humid and sticky. The people are very who live in that environment are very different, and they have like this sort of like, different vibe to them. The cities that are built within the Amazon have a really like tropical jungle feel. And I don't mean like, some place you'll find like in the Caribbean or something like that. I mean, when I say tropical jungle, it's like it's like you're in a city where it's difficult to get to. Yet it's a city, but it's built out of the grounds of the rainforest. It's just a different vibe. So it's dope. And it's dope eating the food, because they eat a lot of like strange food. You can go out there and get like caiman, or you can eat I don't want to say anaconda, but some kind of boa constrictor you can actually eat out there. All kinds of like different lizards and stuff like that. I mean, all the different types of fish, and I mean, you can eat and you can like just see a lot of different animals, and it's dope. But when it rains, it pours and it gets crazy. How was DC? Oh, man, DC was dope, man. I'm gonna get back to you, but DC was dope. So when it rains, it was it just like the water goes everywhere, and a lot of the roads are not paved, so like it gets muddy, and the mosquitoes are bananas. So it's like, yeah, it's really cool to go out there in the Amazon and experience the nature and what it looks like and all that, but man, it gets uncomfortable real quick, and those mosquitoes don't play. Yeah, so I don't go places for nature. I go places for the culture, and the history. Yeah, ex-trolling. How was DC? DC was it was dope in the sense that I was able to get in and get out without having to deal with a lot of traffic. So I'm glad I did that. But when I travel, it's more expensive. Yeah, but in DC, I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy going back there. I don't enjoy going back to the States, period. So I only go when I have to go, and when I'm done, I'm done. I mean, I was only there for 2 nights. When I travel, it's more to experience the culture or learn the history of the place. Yeah, strolling. So, yeah, man. And that's same for me, man. That's why I travel. I want to get to know the people, the culture, experience that. Because for me, that's more enriching. And also the history, and be able to connect history to culture and to the food and to the people I like doing that, and also doing that in reference to other places within that region or vicinity. So that's something I enjoy personally. I like taking those mental steps and figuring stuff out in that way. But I'm just not really interested in like partying. I'm not interested in uh, you know just. I mean, if there's a beach, I go to the beach and I enjoy the scenery. But I'm not one to be like waste. I don't say waste. I pass a lot of my time on the beach and not use that time to go and actually go on like tours and learn about the place I'm going to. I'll tell you one of the most enriching places I've gone to as far as like culturally is Cuba. I went to Cuba years and years and years ago, and this was when I went to Cuba. Fidel Castro was still the president, or was it Raul? But anyways, that was dope. But the thing is, when I went, I just said that my Spanish wasn't the best at that time. So when I went, I had a hard time communicating with some people, and a lot of stuff is in Spanish, not in English. So it was just more of a challenge to really understand the culture and the history and all that stuff. Even though I was able to get the gist, but it's just that it's more difficult. But Cuba, for me, Cuba is dope. I really like to go to Cuba again real soon because a lot has happened in the past nearly 20 years since I last been there. Cocho, ¿cómo estás? ¿Todo bien? ¿Todo bien? Mira, Cocho, el tema de este video, estoy hablando de viajes. Sí, entonces, si tú tienes viajes planeados para el futuro, yo quiero que tú compartas con el chat lo que tú estás pensando, tus planes, el lugar, porque tú quieres ir a ese lugar. Entonces, eso es lo que estamos hablando ahora. So, ex-trolling, do you have any countries you plan on visiting in the near future, or any countries you want to go to, or any countries you recommend that I go to? Or anyone else out there in the chat, if you have any countries that you recommend that I go to, or countries that you plan on going to, and why you plan on going there. I can tell you one thing. The reason why a lot of people do not plan on traveling, or who are not traveling now, even though it's the height of the travel season, is the flights, man. The flights are crazy expensive. Crazy expensive. I mean, those flights where you can get I know I used to be able to find flights to go to Puerto Rico for under $100. Now I can't find flights for under $100 anymore. Going back to the States, at least going back to DC. Personally, I don't like flying Spirit, but I would do it. But that's not my preference. I prefer to fly Delta and United, and I would fly JetBlue. But those sort of the main ones I would fly. And every once in a while, if I had to, I fly American and Southwest. But Spirit, I basically always avoided. But now I would do Spirit in a heartbeat now with those other prices, man. I mean, United, they have been canceling a lot of flights recently, and they have a shortage of pilots. And in addition, they've also cut out a lot of routes. Delta has gone to the extreme where they actually been paying people up to $10,000 to change their flights. $10,000. That's why I prefer to fly Delta and not Spirit, because Spirit ain't giving out $10,000. We all know that. Hell, Spirit ain't giving out 10,000 miles. So there it is. Amber and the Sticks. Spirit wheels just caught fire. Yeah, I heard that. It was there was some smoke with Spirit. And right now, JetBlue and I believe Frontier as well have been in the talks with Spirit to buy Spirit. So I don't think a decision has been made yet, but Spirit is essentially for sale, as they should be. As you see right now, the one of the planes just caught on fire. But that has nothing on Red Air, which I think it was about 2 weeks ago. Red Air, which is a new Dominican airline, flew from DR to Miami, and it landed in Miami and smoky, and then it caught on fire. And then when it landed, like the people were being rushed to exit the plane as the plane caught on fire. Not a small fire, a huge fire. And of course, I knew I was going back to the States and say, let me check and see what the prices are for Red Air, that Dominican airline. And they had no flights planned for the near future. Amber in the stick says, right, I am trying to buy a home in PR to retire. Yeah, man, PR is dope. PR is where I have my residence. I mean, I'm here in DR, 100%. But PR is where I have my sort of my residence for the U.S. simply because it is close. I mean, the flight is like 30 to 40 minutes from Santo Domingo to San Juan. So I have my PO box there. So I use a PO box over there where I get all my mail sent, which I go to pick up every once in a while. Yeah, but PR is cheap, but some places in PR the prices are going up simply because after they restructured the debt for PR, and now and on top of that, you have a lot of folks moving to PR because there was a huge exodus leaving PR. Now there's folks moving to PR who are buying up some of these abandoned lots and houses and stuff like that. So I definitely foresee that Puerto Rico will be a spot for people wanting to leave the 48. I definitely see that coming. X Strolling says, in the near future, it will be DR and Iceland. I am planning on relocating to DR since I work remote. After I get settled in DR, I gotta hit Iceland. I want to jump in hot spring in the middle. In the middle of winter. Yes. I'm so glad you mentioned Iceland. I want to go to Iceland. Iceland had, well, at least before this fuel crisis, Iceland has some cheap prices, flights. There's, I think it's Iceland Air and Ryanair, which are pretty cheap. And yes, I want to go to Iceland too. And I'll probably be going to Iceland. That'll probably be one of the first places I go to in Europe. Even though I'm looking at going to Turkey first, and maybe I'll go to Spain and Portugal before. But after that, it'll be Iceland. Yes, I want to experience those hot springs as well. And Iceland, man, they just have a different culture when it comes to Europe because it's cold most of the year. So they drink a lot of coffee and have but still have some dope seafood. Even though I'm not with that, I don't like that fish because it's like salted fish. I hate that. It smells bad. And Anthony Bourdain had it when he went to Iceland, I believe. It's like I'm sure one of you could look it up, but it's like rotten fish, but not necessarily rotten, but it's rotten fish. Yeah, but definitely, and also, man, DR is a dope place to be at to work remote. The only issue is in DR, you gotta be careful where you go because generally speaking, internet connectivity is not as strong as other places. I mean, the infrastructure in DR is not the best. So you may have fiber optic, you may have some fast internet, but internet goes out and electricity goes out. So you can sort of have a plan B for electricity if you have like a generator or some sort of like inverter or battery. But when the internet goes out, I mean, you can revert to your phone but they charge an arm and a leg for that. Let's see. Amber and the Sticks. My dad is from Ponce. I want to go to Ponce. Yeah, Ponce cheaper than the San Juan metro area. I definitely tell you that. I like Ponce. Ponce has a very what I like about Ponce is still like a decent sized city. However, it's for me it's more like it's more it's like the other side of PR. I feel like when I think of Puerto Rico, I think of Puerto Rico different in different parts. I think the metro area where you have San Juan and all that, and then you have sort of like Dorado, and you can throw Luquillo, and Luisa, and Carolina, Bayamon, all that in that area. Yeah, that's all. Kyle was all that I would throw in like the metro area, and then you have the mountains where it's very rural. It's there's a different lifestyle there. It's much slower. And then you have the South Coast, where I see where Ponce is, and Ponce is sort of like that main city for the South Coast. Yeah, I feel like it's one of those places where you can get land and you can get a house or an apartment for cheap because generally speaking, there are less jobs available in the Ponce area. So there's not a lot of industry. So because everything is in the metro area. So that's somewhere you would go to if you wanted to go back to Puerto Rico and build. Or if you're a new person in Puerto Rico, it would be a good option too. But a person who's new to Puerto Rico, I would think they probably have their eyes on the metro area rather than Ponce or elsewhere. Salted fish. Yeah. I'm not talking about salted fishes can be yummy, like bacalao, Puerto Ricans eat bacalao. But they have like some other like it's like fermented fish that they eat up there in Iceland. And that is something else. My abuela lives in the mountains. Yeah. And in the mountains, man, it's Puerto Rico, it's low, it's different. And it reminds me a lot of for those of you who haven't been to DR, maybe if you go to some place like I would say West Virginia, it'll have more of a West Virginia feel where you have like a lot of windy roads and it's rural and it's like lots of like mountains and hills. That's what it's like in the center of Puerto Rico. And essentially, there's no way to get from the south to the north without going through the mountains. Yeah, I've been doing research on Claro. They offer wired gig internet in the areas of Santo Domingo. I will probably get a hotspot for Altice's backup. Yes, that is smart, dude. Woo, that is smart. I didn't think about that, doing that. That is smart because even though when Claro goes out, that doesn't mean Altice is out. So having that backup hotspot is very, very helpful. You just gave me the idea that I didn't think about because I've been using my phone. Like whenever the internet goes out in the house, I got Claro in the house. So when it goes out, I use my phone and I use up all my phone data, which is, I hate doing that, but sometimes you just do what you got to do. But if I had a hotspot for Altice, at least if that Claro was out, Altice should be working. Thanks, man. You just gave me an idea. I never thought about that. That's smart, man. Yeah. So, and even if you have wired internet connection with Claro in Santo Domingo, it would still go out. You know what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily like that the connection is bad or the Wi-Fi is bad or the actual wired connection is bad. No, the connection could be 100% good. It's just that Claro goes out. And just the internet goes out. Yeah, man. It is just a system here, man. The infrastructure is not the best, but I'm sure it's come a long way, and it will continue to progress. But we got to work around those issues. Yeah, I'm a barber, stylist, Amber and the Sticks. I think I know who you are, Amber and the Sticks. I'm pretty sure I know who you are. Now you said it, because I know her name is not Amber, but I know a person who's a stylist, who's Puerto Rican, and you had made a comment on my channel before, so I know who you are. So that's dope. How was everything going, Amber and the Sticks? How was everything? She still has no AC in her home. Yeah, the mountains. It's less developed. The mountains in Puerto Rico is less developed. Uh, I know when I was there about 2 years ago in one of the mountain towns, they were still, well, 3 years ago now, they were still getting water even after the hurricane that went through. They were still getting water out of the mountain, like the natural water of a mountain. Basically, they go to like the mountainside, and they have some sort of like tube that carries the mountain water and comes out. So they'll go there to fill up other jugs and water tanks and stuff like that, because the water, the running water was still out. But yeah, it's you think Puerto Rico was being part of the U.S., you think it'd be on par as far as development with other of the states, but it's not. And hopefully that'll start changing, especially now that the budget, being Puerto Rico was in debt for so long. Now that budget has been fixed, with Congress, hopefully there will be some development, some changes in Puerto Rico. Let's see, electricity wise, I am hoping to get into an apartment that has a backup plant. My backup plant that I have is a portable power station. Yeah, that's what I have. So I don't have a generator. I don't have the inverter, even though I should go ahead and invest and get that. I have a backup portable battery that I bought off Amazon, which is helpful, but it's only to I basically use that to continue to have internet and to plug on my laptop when I need to, or charge my phone when I need to when the electricity goes out. For the most part, when electricity goes out, at least where I live at, it only goes out for a few minutes, maybe an hour. Rarely it goes out for an entire day. And my battery has a span of about 4 to 6 hours, so I'm usually good. But when it goes out for an entire day, I'm out of work, man, and it sucks. It sucks. I would probably do an inverter and battery as well. Yeah, I would do both. I need to go ahead and get an inverter. I haven't done so yet, but we had a couple of days within the past month, that has forced me to go ahead and get it. But I'm actually waiting on someone, because someone talking about they got some deals and didn't get a commission if I work with them. So I know this is a buddy of mine. I want to help them out, but I might go ahead and go my own way with me getting an inverter. And for those who don't know, the inverter is basically the way it's set up in DR is they'll have maybe like some car battery packs hooked up to a inverter, and whenever the electricity goes out, it will revert to those battery packs, those charged battery packs, which will give electricity to the apartment or house until the electricity comes back on. All right, let's see. We here. I appreciate the conversation, you all. I appreciate it. I will probably. So yes, it's great chilling in Lusby, managing Smart Style in Walmart. That's dope. That's dope, Amber. That's dope. And I remember meeting up with you. It's been a long time. It probably was like 13 years ago in Orlando. And I remember you were telling me you were doing, a barber stylist, and I know that you were doing that in not only in Florida, but you were doing it in Maine for a while as well, and now where you are now. And I think it's dope that you manage your own shop now, so that's dope. That's dope. And I'm sure you go to retire to Puerto Rico, there'll be a lot of work for that over there as well. She lives off the land. I want to as well. Yeah. Yeah. That's tough. Living off the land is tough, especially in this day and age. But hey, a lot of folks do it. A lot of folks do it, especially in the mountains in Puerto Rico. Enjoying my apple juice. Yeah, so Amber and the Sticks in Puerto Rico, and well, whether you go to Ponce or in the mountains, what do you like best about being in Puerto Rico and between Ponce and the mountains? What do you like best about it? And also anyone else out there in the chat, if you have anywhere else you plan on going to, any trips that you have, any trips that you recommend that I go to, places that you recommend that I go to, let me know. To revisit my next 4 major trips, and I'm talking about going back to the States or Puerto Rico or Colombia or anywhere in the Caribbean. My next 4 major trips I'm thinking about is Turkey, or other part of Europe, Brazil, Australia, and Cape Verde. Dope. PR barbers are setting the standard on Instagram. Yeah, I've seen a lot of not PR barbers, but Dominican barbers on Instagram doing a lot. And you've still never been. Well, look, you should go. I mean, at least from the DC area, they have the direct flights with JetBlue. Direct flights from JetBlue out of Dallas. I'm not sure about Reagan, but Southwest has direct flights to Puerto Rico as well from BWI. So yeah, go. Definitely go. And I think you'll have a different experience being that your father and your grandmother, you're sort of like going back home, even though you haven't been, going back home, which is a dope feeling. So you should definitely go when you can, because you'll get a lot out of that experience. And as I remember, I do not remember if you speak Spanish or not, but it wouldn't matter, because even in Ponce, you'll find a lot of folks speak it, but more so in the metro area, we find that pretty much everyone speaks English. Yeah, Angel's disability is expensive. Yeah, I remember Angel's your son. I do remember that. Hopefully a low cost of living meeting the standards need. Yes, and that's the thing. So I got a friend of mine from Puerto Rico, and her son has some learning disabilities. And I remember her telling me that it was hard for her to get him the attention that he needed in school. The school system is not that great. The public school system is not that great in Puerto Rico. And he wasn't able to get a lot of that attention that he needed. And she was considering moving to Florida. She told me Florida and then Texas. I think she was thinking about those 2 places, because she knows that he would get better attention in school. However, Puerto Rico was home. In Puerto Rico, their family has like land and a house, stuff like that. So she would leave all that behind to go someplace to pay rent and all that. So it's definitely a tough spot for a lot of people living in Puerto Rico, especially when they're dealing with their kids and education and getting their needs met in the school system. But when you have a family home and you're living off the land or living for free at the family home because you don't pay rent, and you got your job, you have your routine, your family, your friends, but you want to leave to go to like Texas or Florida somewhere in the 48 to get a better education opportunities. It's tough. It's tough. A lot of people have done it, and a lot of people have stayed in Puerto Rico because you just gotta weigh your options. Spanglish, yep, Spanglish. Puerto Rico definitely has a lot of Spanglish in the metro area. A country I would recommend to visit is Egypt. You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that extra. So Egypt is a place I want to go to, but I've also heard that they're not that friendly. I mean, Egypt, from what I hear, is dope as far as like the sites to go to, like the historical sites, the pyramids and stuff like that. But I heard that they're not that friendly. Have you been there? And is that true? Are they friendly towards tourists? Are they friendly towards women? Because I know that some of those predominantly Muslim countries are very negative towards women. Not saying all, but some of them. But I just know about watching a lot of vlogs of people who have been in Egypt. Generally have not recommended Egypt because people there are not that friendly. But let me know what you think, Extrola. I'm curious to know. Amber in the Sticks. I have zero help in the States, so it seems the same as far as accessing resources. Yeah. The States is tricky, man, because everything is done by district. So you'll have one district that is like that has all the resources and make things available, but there's some that are just they don't have anything to offer. He currently has private placement in VA. Gotcha. Okay. Private placement. When you say private placement in VA, what do you mean private placement? I want to visit the pyramids in Sudan. Yeah, I would like to go to Sudan, but I know that there are a lot of I know that the war is not really quite over between that takes place in Sudan. I think right now it's probably more concentrated in South Sudan than Sudan. But that would be my first place I'd go to in Africa, not Sudan or South Sudan. Public school pays for his tuition and transportation over. Wow, that's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah, that's good. However, man, that's good. I don't think you'll get that kind of. I don't think you'll get that kind of education assistance in Puerto Rico. I met many great people from Sudan and Maine. Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that. A lot of those lesser known states or smaller states, they've taken a lot of refugees, and a lot of people from bigger states like Virginia or DC area or places like that. I think those are little known facts. If you ever go to Maine, well, not Maine, Minnesota. Minnesota has a lot of people there from Somalia and Ethiopia. They're taking a lot of refugees in those places, and also those places that over years have created large immigrant communities. So you'll go to probably now you'll go to Maine and they have a large Sudanese community. So now when they're looking to bring in Sudanese refugees or Sudanese immigrants, they'll all be looking to go to Maine, right? That's how the Minneapolis, Minnesota area has sort of increased and built, and that's how now you have a U.S. representative, and you have state representatives. They're all of Somali, Ethiopian origin from that area, which is dope. Yeah, he's doing great so far. It's just so far. Yeah, the things we do for our kids. The things we do for our kids. They are friendly towards tourists. in regards to women, so as not to stand out, females got to dress more conservative to avoid stares. I would skip the tank tops. I would also recommend a female wears a scarf to enter religious spots. Also, get a good tour guide. Most hotels have recommended tour guides. X Strolling, thank you for sharing that with me. Look, man, my wife is Dominican, so if I travel, um, she's going to be coming with me. And look, Dominican, that Caribbean culture, you're not, they're not accustomed to such, strict rules. So hey, I can't wear what I want to wear. I can't wear a tank top. Well, I can't look, put on this sexy, outfit. I gotta wear a scarf. That's understandable if you're going into religious places. I get that, because that's what I've learned about going to Turkey is those religious places. They'll If you don't have your own, they'll give you a scarf to put over while you're in that religious place, but then you'll take it off when you leave. But if it's beyond that in Egypt, then I wouldn't go to Egypt just simply for her sake. But if you say that they're good towards tourists, I'll definitely consider, because Egypt has a lot of history, and I really like to go there to be able to experience that. Juba, Kortum, Zande tribe, and Acholi tribe we lived with for a year. That's dope. I'm not familiar with the different tribes in Sudan and South Sudan, but that's cool. That's cool. Did you pick up any characteristics from the different tribes? Like the Kotor tribe is, they're like taller, or they're more outgoing, or the Zande tribe is more like reserved, or like, did you pick any of those like differences in characteristics up? I'm curious about that. Amber and the Sticks, I recommend. I met others from all countries as well, many refugees. Yeah, I don't know. I know that when Trump and Biden, they made some adjustments and limiting the amount of refugees that can come in each year. But I know prior to that, a lot more refugees were able to come in. Just based on where I've been at, me being in the military, always being in those military circles, or living in the DC area, I never knowingly knew. So I'm curious to know, like, what those refugee communities look like. How they integrate in a society in the U.S. I'm curious. If you could share that, Amber and the Sticks, I appreciate it. Also, I can if someone wanted to come on and talk about some of this stuff, I can bring you on. I can send you the link, and I can bring you on. You know what? With that said, I'm gonna drop the link right now. Go ahead and drop the link to this. Let me drop the link so that I can bring you guys on. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Yep. So just drop in. If you want to drop in on the chat, show your face. You should show your face. What makes sense if you show your face? Yeah. So the UAE. So I just dropped the link. So if any of you want to come through, we continue to have this conversation. You know, it'd be good. It'd be good. All right. So Extrolin just said the UAE, specifically Dubai, is a good alternative to Egypt. So why is that? Why is the UAE a good alternative to Egypt? Why is that? I know the UAE is a richer country. You know, it has much more money. I don't know if that's much more tourism, but definitely much more money, much more, many more luxurious options for tourists. But why is it a alternative or a good alternative for Egypt? Let me know, man. Amber and the Sticks. Definitely different peoples with their own tribal languages, food, styles. I was surprised how Catholic they are. Whoa, me too. Me too. I am surprised, but it makes sense. Catholic missionaries are one of the most influential. The Catholic Church, I should say, is one of the most influential churches in the African continent, and they do a lot of missionary work out there. So that's something I do know, and that is cool that it even comes to the point where a lot of the refugees were actually Catholics. So that's dope. So that's dope. Let me change this up real quick. I don't think any of you got the I don't think any of you actually got the. There we go. Oh, there's the link. All right, you see it? There it is. All right, jump in, Amber and the Sticks. Jump in. Jump in. Don't be shy. So when I was on active duty, I was actually this close from going to UAE. We had everything planned for the trip and all of that. I was actually going to be going out to Abu Dhabi for about 2 weeks. We were going to be planning an event. Amber, I'm trying to get you. I'm trying to add you to the stream now. I see you in the green room.
I'm in the kitchen.
Well, not Amber, but today I want to call you Amber.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Oh,
how you doing?
Hanging out at the house today. It's my only day off today and tomorrow.
Well, I appreciate you hanging out in the house today and hanging out with me. I greatly appreciate it. Really appreciate it. So Amber, tell me about yourself. You know, this for those who don't know about Amber and the Sticks, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me.
Well, I'm from the Sticks of Southern Maryland. And Amber is my middle name, Belinda Amber.
And Amber's your middle name.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So I know in the chat you were talking about a bunch of things about going to Puerto Rico because your family, your father, and your father's from Puerto Rico, so therefore you would like to relocate to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I have a lot of family over there, so I'm trying to go over there and meet that side of the family.
Yeah.
Never been to the island, trying to check it out. I hear nothing but good things. I think it'd be cool to take Angel there. I think he would like it.
Yeah. It's definitely the Enchanted Island is really the Enchanted Island. I could definitely say that. They call that for a reason. But I will say that when you go there, the air is different the environment is different. I mean, you will feel, so, in the United States, you feel that pressure, right? It's like
I'm
the
looking
pressure
to
on your
feel
shoulders,
welcome
that pressure.
again.
What's that?
I want to feel welcome again.
Exactly.
Like when we went to Maine, it was weird because we weren't really welcome with our family, but we were really welcome with this community of Sudanese refugees. And like you said, all those other countries. I met people from Cambodia, Ethiopia, El Salvador.
Yeah.
They were all smashed together in this one community in the center of the city.
Uh-huh.
You know, and the police would drive their paddy wagons around this city in a big circle, trying to intimidate the refugees. And I'm just like looking around, like, why is this city being run like this? And it just made me ask a lot of questions. And I ended up deciding, well, if I have to deal with the stuff that's going on up here, I might as well go back home where I'm from.
Yeah.
Where I consider it to be ground zero of the Civil War and all this nonsense that's going on in the country. So we just came back home so I could finish up the hair license and start doing hair. And I've just been doing that ever since we've been back. But it's been good. It's been good money and good getting into like a full-time career.
Yeah.
But now I'm finally thinking about, okay, where do I want to buy a house? Because I might be able to buy this house this year, but I'm not sure I want to, because I'm not very happy in this area. At least I'm trying to go back over the bridge right now. And hopefully after a few years over there, I'll be able to move more permanently to like Puerto Rico or somewhere I want.
Yeah. I'll tell you this, living in the area where you are right now was definitely cool. So if you were thinking about buying in Puerto Rico, you would definitely be spending less money. I'll tell you that. You're definitely spending a whole lot less money.
I know that.
Yeah.
So that's like the main thing for me. I need low cost.
Yeah, and just
And low
so
cost
you
over
know,
time, like with the way the economy and stuff is, I'm not trying to have huge debts, and I'm trying to do everything.
Yeah.
Up front.
And in Puerto Rico, you'll find there that a lot of people get by with a lot less because the cost of living is cheaper. The biggest expense that we have is our house. That's cheaper. The only thing is, people are cheaper. You know what I'm saying? So when if you have a business, it may be difficult to earn as much as you would living at where you are now because people pay for less for services.
Well, that's something I'm already kind of dealing with. Like you have a lot of people, this is my clientele, is like people with disabilities, low income, fixed income, veterans, that type. They don't have money anyway. So with prices shooting up everywhere, I've had the issue of, well, how do I keep my clients that don't have a lot of money, but my prices got to go up regardless?
Yes.
Well, going to the Walmart salon seemed like a compromise. That salon was always closed. I'm like, I wonder why nobody's running it. And it's because of the low cost in there. The services are cheaper, so the pay is cheaper.
Yeah.
Management, I'm starting at 50% commission, so I don't mind. I also have my other business, and I'm working basically 7 days a week, but just, whatever I can do to get this money together to be able to move to where I want to be at eventually. So
yeah. Well, I can definitely say that if you want to make that move to Puerto Rico, don't be afraid to make the move. I could say I know it's not the same situation, but when I saw an opportunity to move here, I took it because I knew that if I didn't take it then, I would be saying in the back of my head, why didn't you do that? Now it's going to be harder, or whatever. But I didn't want to keep procrastinating. I wanted to just go ahead and just do it. And whatever difficulties I had in the process, I want to just fight through it and just work through it.
I've
and get
had to
there.
learn how to problem solve, moving from Florida to Maine and then from Maine back to Maryland. It's just, there's a lot of things that people don't think about. And where I do hair, I'm,
Yeah,
dealing with the environmental changes around me,
yeah,
affecting my hair day to day, affecting how I do my job and how I treat other people's hair. And I just learned so much. I was just like, I think I'm ready to kind of pick and choose what I want to do, where I want to be, that kind of thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But definitely keep your mind on the prize and don't be afraid to make that move. Before I continue on, Amber, give me 1 second. I want to shout out. Kiana says, shout out to Southern Maryland. Let me see. I got my man X Roland says, I think in terms of comfort level for your wife, Dubai would be less restrictive. You still get the Arabic architecture, see museums, tour the local markets, beaches. If you are brave enough, go sandboarding. Yeah, sandboarding is dope. I would love to do that. I would love to do that.
Sounds cool.
I would love to go sandboarding. But hey, so let me ask you this. Being where you are now, do you find it easier to live there than from when you were living in Orlando or from when you were living in Maine?
Yeah, because I know people.
Gotcha.
And so because I have those connections, I'm able to access a lot more resources. I'm able to access a lot of things that I wasn't able to in Maine or Florida.
Gotcha.
So I feel like if I go to Puerto Rico and there's actually already family there, there's at least things I can touch base with.
Yeah.
I have a leg up at least getting in. And I have friends too from Orlando that were Puerto Rican. They go back and forth.
Lots of Puerto Ricans in Orlando, yeah.
Yeah, so it's plenty of people that I can reconnect with, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because being in Maine where I really didn't know anybody except for my family, and then being put to pretty much a community of people where everybody knows everybody, it was very jarring for me personally, just because I'm a little on the spectrum myself, so I get overwhelmed by crowds and too many people and things like that.
Yeah.
And you walk into a room of Sudanese people and you have to go and shake every person's hand all the way around the room. And I was just like, oh, I can't do this. But with Puerto Rican culture, it's a lot of the same thing. They do the kisses on the cheeks.
Yes.
And to me, it was just felt more like home, like culturally like home. It was more comfortable. Even though I felt like I was fish out of water,
Yeah.
was still more comfortable to my soul, I guess. So that's what I'm looking for. I want to get that back. I felt fine in Orlando for the most part, but them laws in Florida, I can't live there. I'm gonna be a statistic so fast. I had to leave the state. So I figure I don't know. At least if I go to
Let me ask you this: what laws in Florida are you referring to?
Really just anything. It's a Republican run district. They got their own laws against abortion and stuff that they were trying to do before the Roe v. Wade turned over. I mean, domestic violence, they don't care about that. I think 20 women were murdered in the city the month I left with Angel.
Jeez.
And that's just in the city. It's just really bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad. The laws create situations for people to not be able to escape or survive.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And if you don't already have knowledge of like systems and kind of how the government and the United States really kind of works, like coming from a military town, growing up with, all Navy around us, being married to a Marine at one point, I knew how to deal with these systems. I knew how to kind of navigate my way through and out of bad situations. But I just see people around me not being able to do the same thing. And it's like, it's scary. So I definitely want to get myself to a place where I'm comfortable and happy with my home life and my work life. Because like work is great, you know, School for Angel is going pretty good. The only problem is the transportation. And then, but as far as home life, it's very boring. It's very like trying to figure out things to do to keep your mind occupied.
Yeah.
You've got a busy brain. It was easy to be in Orlando and just up in the middle of the night. There's a bunch of things open I could go to and check out to deal with a busy brain. Whereas out here, everything's closed, everything's far. I don't want to drive. Like if we had trains in the city, it would be great. I really need some trains. But
Yeah.
they keep voting against that. I don't know how much longer they're going to keep voting against that with these gas prices, though. So
True.
hopefully people realize that, like, if you had a train, you wouldn't be at the gas pump. So
Yeah.
I did the Sunrail after I left Orlando. The whole time I was there, Rick Scott fought against the Sunrail. We could have probably stayed in Florida if the Sunrail was there before we left, because it would have given us a way to get up and down and around. When at the time we didn't have a way, we had just lost the car. Where my car had a Nissan Sentra head gasket.
But I can tell you this: Orlando is definitely the fastest growing city in Florida. And if you just being in Orlando area, like it's just growing so fast. I mean, they're constantly like building like the new interstates and like just like new exits. I mean, it's constant, and I feel like at the rate it's growing, I don't really seeing it being easier to get around in Orlando.
Right. I had a lot of issues. Even when I had a car, I was always in traffic. It took an hour to get across the city. I personally boycotted the highways and the toll roads because I was not going to pay to drive on roads that my tax money already paid to build. So I would drive through the streets in town and take forever to get across town. But, I did what I had to do to save money. In the long run, them tolls that's a whole nother bill every month. It's a whole lot of money, and people just accept it as part of cost of living. I didn't grow up with roads. I grew up with back roads. So I don't know. I couldn't come out the pocket to do it.
and look, that's why I always recommend folks, look, consider living abroad. I know that some folks can't do it because it could be their financial situation, or it could be because of their family situation. But that's why I always recommend folks consider living abroad, because, like for example, out here in the yard, the cost of living is cheaper. The dollar goes a long way, and also if you find a way to work online or have a business, do you know how much money you can make here? And having a salon, or there's something like beauty products, or anything dealing with beauty here, perfume.
Yeah, the industry is great.
You can make a lot of money here. You can make a lot of money here. So I always recommend folks that if there's a way, consider that, because the United States is just super expensive, and it's unnecessarily expensive.
Yeah, I feel priced out of everywhere we've lived so far. That's the only reason we move, is because the prices keep going up, and we can't stay anywhere. So, because we still have a certain standard of living, we're not trying to be in the streets anywhere. It's like crazy the way things are right now. It's so easy to lose a lot. Careful, man.
It is. And I mean, all the money you're spending on just surviving, there's not a lot of money that goes into savings. And then the price of everything keeps going up. What's not going up is salaries.
Right.
Salaries aren't going up. So how does one get a good quality of life? I say high, a good quality of life, living in some of these places in the United States? And that's why I think people should consider other options, which is living abroad. Even though Puerto Rico is still part of the U.S., it's still sort of like living abroad, because Puerto Rico, it's sort of like its own country.
It's its own, yeah.
It's sort of like its own country, and it's much cheaper there. And the culture is different. The culture is not comparable to other places. And because of all that, you can save some money. Also, living in Puerto Rico, you're not paying federal tax on your income.
Yeah.
You're not paying federal tax on your income.
There's a
You're
lot
paying
of
state. But when you pay in Puerto Rico, as if you live in Florida, you don't pay state income, but you pay
right. Yeah,
federal.
the federal.
And that's an advantage right there as well for folks. Yeah, so folks should definitely consider living apart. I mean, think about the cost of not just of living, but like the services. Services are so much cheaper here
right.
than you would have in the United States. Medical services, the prices we pay in the U.S. for to go to the emergency room or just to see a doctor.
Right.
You pay a small percentage of that here. A small percentage of that here. So,
and that's our biggest expense is doctors, follow-ups, all this stuff.
And that's why, especially one that has to constantly go to the doctor for different medical issues, should definitely consider going elsewhere because, I mean, it can be a burden, especially when you're already struggling to get by.
Oh yeah, and the care in Southern Maryland is still bad. It's if you ask me, it's worse than ever. I wouldn't want to have a baby in St. Mary's Hospital. I can't believe these women do it. I'm scared. But I'm serious. Like, no, it's scary the way that they treat women out here. So I'm like, okay. But yeah, no, I'm looking to be treated better across the board. So I think I can find that.
Well, one thing I do know about doctor visits in Puerto Rico is that generally it's cheaper. However, they take their time. So you have your appointment at 12 o'clock. You may not see the doctor until 1, maybe 2. You know what I'm saying? So I noticed that being a common theme in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
But I'd rather deal with that and the cheaper costs rather than.
Yeah. And then for me, I've already had to deal with that over the years. So it's like, it doesn't seem much different. It's like, I can get the same care, this better care in the same amount of time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, most definitely. And because I'm a veteran, I can go to one of the third-party VA clinics here in Santo Domingo, and a lot of my service-connected issues are free.
Right.
So I can see for my back, it's free, and if I can see for my knees, it's free. So those are other reasons why folks should consider, leaving the States.
Yeah, because there's a VA clinic up here in Charlotte Hall. Nobody goes up there. People aren't even able to get access to that place the way that they need to. And I'm just like, why did they build it out there in the middle of nowhere where there's no bus access to it? There's no walkable access to it. All these veterans are disabled, but you expect all these disabled people to get up to Charlotte Hall where there's no sidewalks.
Yeah.
They do it on purpose, I think. That's why I'm ready to go. I'm not going to stay here and fight the whole system. You know,
I can tell you this: where you're located, they couldn't pay me to live there. They couldn't pay me enough to live there. Just put it out there.
People keep saying that. They're like, you came back. I can't believe you came back. I'm like, well, it seems like it's the same everywhere. I mean, I'm dealing with the same type of issues, from all the different states that I've been in. So it's like,
I can see that.
I don't know. I came back for the familiarity, for the connections. Like I said, I'm like, at least I know people. It's like when I lost my car, I was able to get another one. Whereas if I was in Maine or another state, I would have been carless and it would have been a big problem.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that. We've been here almost 7-8 years now. So like I said, I'm
it's been that long,
I know. I feel like
Angel was born in like 2010, 2009.
He's 11. He's gonna be 12 this year.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was a while ago, so I didn't realize time flew by that fast.
Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah. So let me ask you this. If you could do it all over again, between Orlando, between Maine, and then coming back to where you are now, what would you do differently?
I mean, I probably would have got my hair license in Florida as soon as I got there.
Yeah.
But the thing is that the culture here turned me off to the industry. And then when I got there, had so many other opportunities and things that I could try out. I
Yeah.
lost interest.
Gotcha.
So I did other things. I did corporate jobs. I did sales. I did all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And I didn't like anything. I kept going back to doing hair. So that was the point of moving to Maine, to help my grandmother in her shop, learn the business, learn how to get a shop open and stuff. That way, once I finished the license, I could just open a shop.
Yeah.
So I've been working on that for the last 3 years, but my salon equipment is sitting in a storage unit because I can't afford to get into any of the spaces out here. All the spaces, the rent's gone way up.
Yeah.
Everything's priced out of the market. I can't afford my own space. So I was like, what's the next best thing? There's this empty salon over here in the Walmart, and Walmart, everyone in the county goes to Walmart every day. So
True.
we don't have an issue with walk-in traffic and all that stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
we're always going to be busy. We just got to draw the customers in. And
Yeah.
ever since I started there, like as management, I'm in charge of the, meeting salon goals and numbers and all that stuff. Everything is already ticking up just because
Yeah.
we have a little bit of guidance in there of what we need to be doing on a daily basis in order to
Yeah.
encourage our clients to come back to us, things like that. And then marketing is something that has to be done for that salon that I
Yeah.
can do. It hasn't been done for them for like a year. And like I'm ordering all new products. I'm completely getting everything in the brand new. So
Yeah.
it's going to be nice when I get started up. If I were to be able to get into a space myself, I probably wouldn't be able to do everything brand new the way that I'm kind of doing now. So I figure I'll just learn as much as I can, soak it all in, get used to the daily kind of grind of it. And then when I'm ready to just open my own, I will.
Let me ask you this. Well, a two-sided question. But is there a possibility for you to have to sort of to do like an inner company transfer to a location in Puerto Rico? Because there's Walmart in Puerto Rico. This is the same type of salon within Walmart in Puerto Rico.
So the Smart Styles that were owned by Regis went bankrupt during COVID.
Gotcha.
So they sold all their salons, and my salon is currently owned by a huge company, Premier Hair Care LLC, and they have about 88 salons. And I didn't think about that. So since they have so many salons, they might have one in Puerto Rico. I don't know. I'd have to find out. But if they did, I could probably. And it's definitely an option to look into.
Yeah, that could be one. Also, I wanted to say is when you are ready to have your own salon, would the plan be to open one up, locally where you are now, or would that be like the immediate thought would be, hey, looking at eyes on Puerto Rico, is that sort of where your mind
I
going?
really wanted to stay in the park, but the park is a problem.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I know that I do want to open a school over here because the owners of the Blades Hair School are no longer there, and the people who used to run it are no longer there, and it's just not. It's not what it used to be. And it used to be a really good thing for the community, especially for Black women in the community. It gave a lot of girls a way to get a license and a way to make money and get on with their lives in a community that doesn't have a lot of opportunities. So I definitely want to see a school opened up out here, like that teaches Black hair and all that. So that's my like original goal, stay here and kind of do that. But it's just with things changing so quickly now, like with the economy and stuff, we're facing things that we've never really faced before, like with the pandemics and stuff. I'm just like, it's a whole new game as far as being an adult and trying to survive out here. So I'm just making different decisions than I think I would have if I knew my life would be or whatever. I'm doing more kind of decisions on the fly, I guess you could say. Trying to adapt to changing situations.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of us are doing a lot of adjustments because of during COVID and because of COVID. I could tell you that even before COVID, I was already going to make this move to live in the Dominican Republic. But because of COVID, I made it much faster. I was like, look, I can do it now, or I can do it soon. How about I do it and make it happen? So because of those different adjustments that a lot of us have to go through, I think it opened our mind up to say, hey, there are other options. I have to consider other options because the ground that I'm on right now is very shaky, and none of this is that I thought was going to happen is for certain,
Right.
But yeah, hey, just so you know, Amber, my man next rolling says you are on the right track, Amber. You just got to make the best adjustments, and you can with what life throw. You can deal with what life throws.
Think
Yeah.
extremely.
Yeah, no, but what he says is true. What he says is true. I know that a lot of folks, even folks close to me, have lost their jobs during COVID and haven't quite recovered.
Right.
Just haven't quite recovered, and I think before COVID, people were thinking that things were just going to continue to go as normal. Then when COVID happened, the rug was taken right from under them,
and they have no plan.
Yep.
And that's scary to not have a plan. I have to have a backup plan.
Yeah, I mean, job is gone, and now either you're starting from the bottom or you're still without. It's
and now it's everything is
even though for me being a soldier or being in the military and then also having a government job, I didn't really feel the hit that much personally, but people around me, basically everyone around me felt it. So that affected me indirectly, me having to help out more and things like that. So yeah, the pandemic is still tough because we're still dealing with it. However, like my man X Roland says, keep on track, stay focused, make the proper adjustments, and you will get to where you're trying to go.
Oh yeah,
you will get to where you're trying to go. It doesn't have to be like most of the people that's probably watching this channel, like myself, who are focused on just leaving the country. I'm just done.
Yeah.
You ain't got to think like that. But it's an option. But definitely, whatever you're trying to do, do what works for you. And honestly, I think Puerto Rico is a great option. I was actually just to give you some background information on what I was doing before the pandemic. I was actually already leaving active duty. I was on active duty at the time. I was on track to leaving active duty. I had an intern set up with the VA in Puerto Rico, and which basically was going to allow me to walk into a job with the VA. And I would have had an option at the VA within Puerto Rico itself. So that was on my whole plan, which Puerto Rico would be sort of the stepping stone before I actually moved to DR full time because it's so close, right?
Yeah.
However, when the pandemic hit, the internship, they took it away. It went away. Said, "Oh, we're not doing this because of the pandemic." And I was like, ass out, like, well, I don't know what to do. I'm leaving active duty, and I don't have any friends.
Right.
Yeah. But I was able to adjust, and I decided to come here sooner because I was like, what's the point of waiting, 4 or 5 years if I can come here sooner? A lot of jobs are now online that weren't online before. They're not always the more sought after jobs, especially if you're not in IT, dealing with computer programming or software and stuff like that, or especially if you're
that
not
stuff is tedious.
Dealing with I don't know what, teaching or stuff like that. Some of those jobs where they would pay a lot more to do remote work. Hey, brother, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, brother. Appreciate the $5, man. I appreciate it. Especially if you're not doing some of that work, they may not pay you that much to do remote work. Even though remote work is available, I mean, it's mostly centered around call centers, Hey man, them call centers, they don't pay that much, man.
I know, I've already done those jobs. I didn't like
it. They don't pay that much. Even, but I can tell you this, if you live in Puerto Rico, the cost of living is cheaper. But I mean, it's still gonna be a struggle if you're only getting $10 an hour or $15 an hour. You know what I mean? Puerto Rico is not DR. You know what I mean? It's not. It's much more expensive. So if you're not doing that type of work, it's gonna sometimes it's quite difficult to get that job in under remote work. Oftentimes it's one of those corporate jobs or those companies you were working with that just went that was had a work site but decided to go offline and have everyone work remotely. And that's sort of a lot of folks who work remote now come from that. You know, their job was they already had the job.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely tough, but I recommend considering remote work as well, because that will help you be more flexible in working from whatever location and eventually being able to make that move to Puerto Rico.
Oh yeah, I have a friend that works from home with his remote job, and I'm trying to see about getting into that, even if it's only temporarily. But also with the hair salon and stuff, my whole plan to go into my own shop was so that I could set up like an Instagram corner or an area where there could be live streams going on. I could do teaching tutorials on. I could stream on Twitch or whatever and get like the young kids involved with choosing their hairstyles and doing their own hair and stuff. And then obviously the whole goal is to monetize all of that stuff so that it just brings more passive income. But it's like every time I'm trying to do something, people are like, why are you going to do all of that? And so I'm like forced to figure it all out on my own with kind of not a lot of guidance or help. So I just
definitely. And a lot of things that we want to do, we're creating the path for it. So there's not really any guidance. You just got to see what works for you. I can tell you this though, you should definitely start a YouTube channel. Start a YouTube channel.
I don't know what to put on it. I have a channel. I have no clue what to put on it.
Hey, you're not gonna know until you do it, and then when you do it, over time you'll figure out what works, and then you go from there.
The other thing is the editing, like the video editing and stuff that I can't really do all that tedious work. I know some people that do it though. I know a videographer, photographer that I'm pretty close with. I want to get some things done soon, but I don't know. I'm working on it.
I can tell you this. And we'll even talk online about this. But a lot of salons here would like to have high quality hair products, high quality hair, and high quality hair products. And sometimes getting it here is expensive.
Right.
But if they can find a place from the US to get it for cheap. So that is something
I need my brother to run my website, and he's in Orlando.
So, was that?
I said I need my brother to run my website, but he's in Orlando.
Yeah.
The only thing that's got me is the computer part.
Yeah, but you know what? The computer part, I think one could work that out just over time. Just working things out, working, trial and error. What this works, with that, if that works, but definitely. Because I can tell you here in DR, a lot of Dominicans, like don't believe the hype. Don't think that all Dominicans are poor, all Dominicans are broke. No, Dominicans, some regular Dominicans got money. There's rich Dominicans, and then there's like regular Dominicans with money. You know what I'm saying? With money. And if their family doesn't come from money, they make their money from selling, buying and selling. Buying and selling. You can make a lot of money there. So what I mean by that is specifically you, because you're in the beauty industry, if you have a way to getting whatever beauty products that you think you can get your hands on, or if you know some Dominicans, like I'm not Dominican, but I'm here, that want products, right? And you can get those products, that can be another side hustle for you.
Oh yeah, I can get you some Agayu and some Carol Care, some Avalon.
Yeah, because look, Dominicans love to look good, right? They do it up here. Mm-hmm. So they spend a lot of money on
the beauty products. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you got the hookup, we can talk, and that could be a few dollars in your pocket every now and then.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I've been posting some products online since yesterday that I
Yeah.
just got to the shop. So
also, what I wanted to mention. Let me see if I got anyone in there. I don't want to be missing anyone if they're speaking in the chat. All right. Good. So I don't have any additional. But extra, and I appreciate the super chat. I appreciate it. Yeah. So outside of Puerto Rico, outside of the beauty industry, anything that you want the world to know, because I got a strong 5 or 6 people in the chat right now, and a lot more people are going to be seeing this after we get off the live. But anything that you want to share with us, with the world?
I don't know. I can't be put on the spot. I mean,
or if you want to plug in your YouTube channel, Amber and the Sticks.
Follow me on the YouTube. What is it? Amber and the Sticks, and TikTok called Belly Hair Designs, and Instagram Belly Hair Designs. BELI Hair Designs.
There you go. So follow her on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook. Facebook, right?
Not Facebook, TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah. The TikTok also.
Follow on TikTok.
That
way we can get your subscriber count up and get your YouTube views up.
I read I have to have 1,000 subscribers before I can monetize. I'm like, what?
No, you gotta have 1,000 subscribers, and you got to have 4,000 hours of watch time.
Yeah, the viewing, the watch time.
And for me personally, the watch time took me longer. It took me, for a lot of folks, it takes them longer to get the subscriber count. For me, it took me longer to get the watch time.
Does it matter? It's better to be engaged with your audience and answering questions and comments and things all the time, or is there like a sweet spot?
You know what? I'm gonna be honest, Amber. I am not the one to ask, because I'm still trying to figure this thing out.
Right.
I'm just because I'm monetized doesn't mean I'm making money.
I know, right?
So yes,
I know
I'm monetized now, but I don't make enough to share any give any advice. So I'm not going to like pretend. But what I'm doing is, because of that, I realized that I'm not making any money, but I am monetized. What I wanted to do was something different. If I put in the effort, if I put more effort in making videos, so I'm here live because I want to engage in whatever audience I have. So this is my time to do that, to have a conversation.
Yeah,
I enjoy this, but I need to do more of this. But I get more views on videos that I actually edit and put out. So I want to do a better job at that, put more effort into it. So I want to see what kind of results I get.
I know.
Because I watched other YouTubers, and they said you put in more effort, you'll see more results.
Yeah.
Not saying I'm lazy, but look, I work, and I got stuff I got to do, so I don't have the time to be editing and stuff. But
yeah, I feel like I don't have a lot of time, and I'm afraid to put out low quality stuff at first and not be able to get better. So I wanted to get a little better before I actually start putting out something, but I don't know.
But I think it comes with time. It took me a long time to get the 4,000 watch hours, but I wasn't aiming for it. When I created this YouTube channel, my purpose of creating it was just to document my move to the Dominican Republic, my transition. That's it. But then I did a few videos, and then there were some people like asking questions. I was like, okay, I could do more, And then it's like, all right, well, I want to do more for tourists. So then I would like do videos of like tourist sites and resorts and hotels. And then now I do that on top of like just like sharing and giving information. So even for me, I'm still trying to figure out how I can best serve the audience that I have, because my audience is pretty, widespread.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
I watch another guy that does like he works for cruise ships, and so he documents all of those trips and the people he meets, and it was
yeah,
real a lot similar to kind of what you do on your channel. So I was like just
yeah,
really drawn into all of that information. It's so much information in such a little video too,
yeah.
especially if you like to travel and you want to travel. So
I've evolved to wanting to be that source for people who are looking to move here to DR or have moved here to DR. I
mhm.
want to be that source. But now that I'm monetized, I want to even broaden and say, hey, I want to just broaden it up to a bigger audience and just talk about anything dealing with travel at all. I wanna be that a source of information. So
Right.
that's what I'm evolving to do. So now I'm taking more time to do videos. I'm actually going to take more time in editing. I spent all day. I spent all day today just before I went on live, from like 8 o'clock this morning, just doing research for a video.
Right.
Just researching for a video that I'm going to put out probably like tomorrow or something. So it takes time, but I want to see if I get the results, then
Right.
I know that okay, this is what I have to do. Yeah. But hey, I recommend if you have the time and you have the somewhat of a platform and theme that you would like to do for a YouTube channel, just do it. You never know. It's like having a fishing rod and throwing that fishing line out. And if a fish bites, then you got to fish for dinner. If it doesn't bite, then at least you tried. You never know until you try.
Yeah. Well, that's why my channel is called Amber and the Sticks right now. That's not the final name.
well,
It was
well,
just so I could get it
even
started.
even I started off my channel with something else. I had it travel and things. I started off my
Yeah.
channel. If
Okay. Yeah.
not, it's converted to
It will
Profe
evolve
Agayu.
too. That's the
But
plan.
yeah, it's evolving. Once you start your channel, you'll refocus everything and figure out what's best for you on your channel. But I recommend it because, especially since you are doing something different, you plan on doing something different, and once you get to Puerto Rico and relocate to Puerto Rico, because you will do that.
Hmm.
It'll be cool to be able to see that transition on all the things you
Right.
did and with the business or different businesses that you have. It'll be dope to be able to like look back and see that.
Yeah. I'm definitely thinking I want to document some things that I've, you know, been working
Yeah,
on. So,
yeah. So make it happen. Make it happen. Salute. Continue the good
all
work.
right.
Roll tape. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate it. Thank you, brother. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat, brother. I appreciate it. So just so you know, Amber, Rhoda Tate is a guy that when I first started my channel, even before I started my channel, I would follow him and I would watch most of his videos, not all of his videos, but most of his videos. And I even came on the live before I started my channel. I came on his live a few times.
Okay.
It was cool chopping up with him.
Yeah.
He's a travel guy, so he travels different places, and talks about his travels and themes about travel. So now that I have my channel and seeing him, hey, yo, hey, I
It's
made it.
all full circle.
I made it, Amber. I made it. I got a roll of tape. I got a roll of tape there, and he gave me a super chat.
That's
So before I would be the one sending him super chats. Now he's sending me super chats. I made it, Amber.
for real. That's what I'm trying to be like.
Yeah,
I
and
need the
you
people
and
to
you
know
can
who
get
I'm
there
at.
too. You can get there too, no doubt, no doubt. And just by listening to you, you already have all the ideas of what you can do with your channel.
Yeah.
Teaching stuff and maybe having some kids on there and teaching the kids and some kid stuff, or teaching the community, or showing how to do this and how to do that. Different methods. You got
Yeah,
it.
there's a lot. There's a lot out there.
Yeah,
Can
you
teach.
got it. So you already got the platform. You already got the platform. And and also I think it'll be really dope. And once you make it out to Puerto Rico, document it.
Yeah, yeah, I
Document going to
will.
Puerto Rico for the first time, seeing your family in Puerto Rico, meeting them in Puerto Rico, and documenting all that and the experience and everything. That'd be dope.
Definitely.
Even if you're just using Gorilla Film, which is what they call Gorilla Film, is basically just like your phone, even if it's just that, just being able to document it
Yeah,
and put that on your channel, it'd be super dope.
I'll be on that.
Yeah. So you got it, Amber. You got it. You can make it happen. And also, I don't know if you're interested in sort of like the travel environment on all these travel channels. If you so, I highly recommend you follow Bro the Tape.
Oh yeah, I
You may
will.
you may find his material interesting or not interesting. But even if you don't follow all of his material, some of the material I know you will enjoy. So
All right, that sounds
yeah,
good.
I'm sure you will. But hey, Amber, I'm popping off. I'm jumping off because my stomach is growling and I want to get something to eat.
For real.
So I appreciate you taking your time out to watch and join the conversation. And
Oh yes,
we
thank
can
you
get
for having
together
me.
offline anytime to talk about any business opportunities between the two of us. As far as the whole beauty products and beauty industry
I
thing.
got the products.
Yeah, you got the
Yeah.
product, and I got the people.
Mhm.
Let's make it happen. All
Let's
right,
make it happen.
let's make it happen. All right, you take care of yourself. All right,
All right, you too.
peace.
Bye.